last time we played, one half of the party met the other half.
I don't think we ever introduced ourselves by name, you know?
Ryan introduced one half, and Lenore introduced the other half.
Okay.
Not a whole lot was done last session. Cherry made some things. People bought some stuff. Tycho met with a black market contact named Thorn and bought one half of the Rosewood Sisters. There was a lot of bad flirting. just a whole lot of bad flirting between Lenore and Cherry, though it was purely one-sided.
I would say bad flirting. Lenore just fucking burned Cherry to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was very good flirting. Thank you.
Korak kinda didn't exist, but kinda did.
Korika got sick. So...
The bird flu.
Yeah, sure. Avian flu. It was... Cherry figured out that Nerome would be coming with them, purely because he had things to do in another city.
Liz had 2 missed calls.
Ellis had 2 missed calls. The rest of you were introduced to the Skulls, who are below you guys. And... you guys were put on a train after some of you buying your personal carts. The plan to protect Estraga and general sobriety hours were figured out by Cherry. And I think that's pretty much it.
Sounds about like it.
Yep.
I just have to add, since this is my first time actually seeing the character, good lord, Nerome is pretty.
I was about to say the same thing. Oh my god.
As was Bianca. I hadn't actually ever seen Bianca. Or Nerome.
Yes.
Being
They're both
pretty
pretty.
is like a prerequisite to being part of Cherry's crew.
It's also, like, generally, any of the characters I make are going to be pretty in some way.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, just look at Stray, the epitome of beauty.
There's that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were pretty at some points.
Oh yeah, you also missed people trying to ship Alice and Stray
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
due to unintentional sexual tension.
Wow.
Lots of accidental innuendo happened.
Yeah.
If I may quote Bila, if the character isn't hot, assume it's not him playing it.
Yes.
Speaking of hot characters, are we all just gonna ignore Osmond, or...
Osmond, yes.
Fuck, I forget the characters.
Osmond, V, and Leandra?
Yeah.
Dutch is also
All of
pretty.
them.
Let's yes, all of them.
And Lick Eric is is also pretty. Their name is just dumb.
Yes.
So while you guys are on this train, I need to change the music. It's already making me go insane, and I need to turn it down.
Dutch just looks like a bulky Jesus.
Korik has his own train car,
Oh yeah.
along with every other party member except for Tycho.
Yeah,
Okay.
that didn't come out of your money. The Skulls fronted it for Korik, Cherry, and Ellis.
Okay.
So our bounties were updated.
Yeah. Everyone saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
currently, the only two people without bounties are technically Tycho and Lenore. Though Tycho does have a bounty as a different individual.
Yep.
Lenore's
Because
lack of
he
bounty
was-
is not for want of evil deeds.
No, it's simply because you're in Dry City, and Dry City is totally unfacilitated.
And she has money.
Yeah.
So she effectively paid off her own bounty.
Less that and more the way Dry City works is that if you have money, you can do pretty much anything.
And she has a lot of money.
Yes.
Which
Good
is,
to know.
Cherry.
And here are those bounties.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that at least I know I have quite a bit of money. I don't know what everyone else does.
Our bounty should be on our character sheets.
Yes.
That
yeah, prob-
might be a good idea. Yeah,
Would be a
Allies
very
and
good
organizations.
those are some low bounties comparatively.
yeah. Well, when you storm a military-controlled citadel and decide to fuck shit up entirely, while while also kicking the military out of the city, you're going to be up to quite a bit. Most of you guys went up by about 20 million.
You
Yeah.
know, you make a good point.
Cherry's only went up by 5 times. Korak was by 20 times. Ellis was like 35 times.
Yeah.
No, wait, no. It was about 50 something times what his prior bounty was.
Yeah.
I think my
And,
initial one was like
400,000.
something. Yeah, I thought it was lower, but holy shit,
Yeah.
I think the largest change
still a
would
lot.
be, Strays.
No,
From
straight.
Sam to Stray.
Oh, yeah. From Sand to Stray.
500 million to a quarter.
It was 300 million, but yeah. Anyways, is there anything you guys would like to do on this train? There's a bar. There is essentially what is a market car with a number of vendors. There's an entertainment car, which has many vices in it. As well as a few other things. There's even similar to what is an engineer's car for the open public. If you guys would like to make anything, it wouldn't facilitate arms making for Cherry, but it would help with repairs. And if you had the materials to do so, you could maybe make some grenades.
Would that engineer's car have medical supplies?
It would not, but you could go. Essentially, are you looking to make some, or are you looking to buy some?
I'm looking to buy some
You could go to.
and then use them.
Okay, you could go to the medical car, or you could go to the market car to buy some.
Okay, to clarify, I don't mean medical supplies in like bandages. I mean like forceps and scalpels.
Oh. Okay. Okay. For that reason specifically, I'm going to have you roll an investigation check.
I want you to know if I fail this, she's just using the ice knife cantrip in place of the scalpel.
Okay.
I
Terrifying.
mean,
It's both numbing and cutting. Oh, sweet. She has proficiency in medicine. I didn't remember that. That'll probably help out.
A 19.
Really? That's a pretty good investigation check. for
Yeah,
something
that
like
is pretty
this.
good. You kind of just look around in both the market cart and the medical cart. As of right now, it's so early into the trip that literally no one has gotten hurt, so it's fairly empty. And there is just a med kit left on the table, forceps, smaller tools, nothing too big. Forceps,
Snatch.
scalpel. Okay. Roll. Nah, no one's in there. Okay, so add on to your character sheet medical tools. As well as like
These are going to be used and gotten rid of fairly quickly.
that terrifies me. Okay.
What the fuck?
Oh, it
Will?
should.
Why do I get the feeling they're not going to be used on a willing participant?
I feel the same way.
Hope. Her hope
Nor's
is
gonna
on
open
a
up her
willing
luggage and
participant.
she's gonna have somebody there.
I
Dog.
mean,
Lenore is a necromancer, and we're leaving it at that for now.
you know, that's
That's brilliant.
I like this person already.
You know, actually, that she did
Is a
say
direct
that.
quote.
Yes.
That is a direct
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But any.
That is not a direct quote.
Listen, if Emerald needs to quote something, he can find it very quickly. I don't know how he does it, but he does. Anyways, would anyone else
Did
like
you
to do
write
anything?
that down in your note?
May or may not have.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to
Isn't
do
that-
anything?
Looking around to see if there's anything just simple that's gonna be forgotten, but nothing real complicated, I guess.
Roll.
Easy theft.
Yeah, roll an investigation check.
No.
You find $1.
Let's talk for a while.
You know, that helps because he literally only has $1 more than a cart now.
Bliss would ask if he could, scribe a magic circle around the Astraga to prevent inside should the one that's already there fail.
Can you repeat that? You cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Ellis would ask if he could inscribe a map around the Astraga should the one that's already there, if there is one there, fail.
A
It's
magic circle.
it's less a magic circle and more of a I forget what the term is, but it doesn't allow interplanar travel. So people can't can't get into the cart via like things like Misty Step or Dimension Door. So if they want to get into the Astraga or get to the Astraga, they have to walk through all of the security rather than TPing right there. But yeah, you can do that.
Alrighty. Just gonna, burn that there spell slot.
How big is the radius?
It's about 10 feet.
Okay. So yeah,
So,
Foot radius, sorry.
it's a what radius?
10 foot radius, 20 foot tall.
That would actually fit it, yeah. Astraga is a big artifact. It is...
so is this the one werewolf guy was talking about
No.
in the court? Because I remember he mentioned having a big one out in the desert.
No. That was a separate one. um... So yeah, the magic circle does contain the Astraga. It is about those exact dimensions. It is a very large artifact and was probably loaded in via crane. Anyone else would like to do anything?
Cherry would like to start mingling
Where would you like?
with kind of the intent of she wants to know like who are the other sort of like mercs in the area and how much of a threat they pose to like in a fight with her, and maybe eavesdrop a little bit and see if she can't like overhear some interesting stuff.
Okay.
Because I'm sure people are trying to protect their own stuff too.
Yeah, you're familiar with these kinds of jobs just being a thing. And sometimes there can be one train with multiple multiple jobs like this going on.
Oh yeah. She wants to know where the valuables are kept, and she wants to know why people are here.
Roll. Roll a perception check with proficiency, because I know you probably don't have it.
I absolutely do not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So this is a +4.
Okay. That's still...
13.
Yeah, that's not too bad. It takes you a little bit to hear anything interesting, and you go, I will say probably to the bar, knowing Cherry, to the bar cart.
Yeah.
I got a burp. 1 second.
And I mean, Cherry's probably gonna spend a lot of the time throughout the trip just doing this. Like,
Okay.
hanging out and listening in on stuff.
You do hear a few people in the bar, as it gets later on in the night, as it gets closer to your sobriety hours, really. Or, non-sober hours, rather.
Closer to party time.
Closer to party time. Where it's kind of like that purgatory of a bar where there aren't a lot of people in because it's too late in the day, and it's because people are restocking the shelves. So, in a booth towards the back corner, these people have been here pretty much all day. And now that it's fairly empty and people aren't talking as much, besides hush talking, a very small 3-man band playing in the corner. Though they're not quite playing, it's more just tuning. You hear about a group of 4 talking about a heist supposed to go on the train. You can't quite hear many of the details. It doesn't seem like they're talking about Astraga. It seems like they're talking about one further up in the train. And you hear the name the Kessman Raiders. The Kessman Raiders, you would know. You haven't done much work for them. As a matter of fact, you've probably only ever done one job for them. The Kessman Raiders are one of the 3 factions of Dry City, alongside the Water Tycoons and the Free Market. Whoa!
What?
What was that noise?
Also, you're shaking your leg, aren't you?
Yes, I'm stopping. Sorry.
It's fine. I was just wondering what that noise was.
If you hear it again, tell me to stop. The Kessman Raiders are essentially whatever group doesn't get killed out in the Badlands just by being idiots or finding a job that's a little too big for their own jaws. They get absorbed by the Kessman Raiders. They're essentially the end-all be-all of bandits in the Badlands.
Can you spell that?
The Kessman?
Mm-hmm.
There is also talk of a black market merchant by the name of Percival Hammond II somewhere in the market cart. I'll write that down.
Yes, please.
Such a specific
I-
name for a black market dealer.
What constitutes black market when you're on an interstate train?
If there is a black market dealer on a train, they are normally carrying precious cargo.
Mm.
And may have some things to sell, but normally they're transporting one thing from one place to another. That's what Cherry would know.
Okay.
Black market dealers don't usually leave the place that they work. Anyone else like to do anything?
Do you have anything like super important planned like right now?
What are you going to do?
Well, first, Lenore, I would like Lenore to go and scope out the carts for what looks like the saddest, loneliest person possible.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Trust me, this is not going where you think. It is worse.
Oh. Roll. Roll investigation check.
You think your characters are just gonna get to sit idly by while she does this? Investigation. I'm blind.
On the first
Nat
day of
one
the
is
trip.
rolled. Rolling that one, find K.
Okay.
Let's go.
you find someone. Roll an insight check.
I don't like where this is going. I feel like I'm finding a serial killer.
As though you're not one?
Lenore is not a serial killer. At least you can't prove she is.
Not yet.
Okay. So 15 on a 14. You do find someone alone, and it appears that they may be a stowaway.
Oh no.
Oh, that's perfect.
They,
Oh no.
They're not necessarily downtrodden, but it doesn't look like they could maybe afford the ticket on the train, so they just snuck into the cargo.
Yeah, Lenore's gonna walk up to them and act all friendly, and she's gonna offer them to let them stay in her room.
Oh god,
In her cart.
Lenore's awful. Roll a deception check. I gotta change the music for this. This is too nice.
I get the feeling that If alignment mattered in this game, Lenore would be evil.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Lawful evil. I'm gonna take a guess.
Lawful to neutral, yeah.
Yeah.
She likes to stay within the law, but she's completely willing to break it if she needs to.
She is the law in Dry City.
I mean, lawful in terms of alignment doesn't necessarily mean the law of the land.
You know what? Off is a very, and yeah. Not very deceptive, are you, Lamar?
Simon,
They just sort of put their hands up and kind of start backing away from you. No, thank you. I think I'd prefer to stay in here, actually.
yeah, she's gonna grab onto their sleeve with a mage hand.
Roll a ranged spell attack.
Oh dang, both of you to assume I remember how to do that.
It's proficiency plus your intelligence.
Proficiency
I
plus
got
my
it.
intelligence. Thank you. You're my best friend.
He's a civilian. It's not like it's not gonna hit.
Yeah, basically, you were looking for a 10.
Yeah, you grab him.
No, really. I insist.
How would you break? Emerald, roll that for me again.
Jesus.
This guy wants to live.
He wants to live really bad. He somehow manages to break from your mage hand's grasp and just starts running the opposite direction of you.
Lenore is going to take advantage of her rich lady status and shout, "Stop, thief!"
Oh my
Oh God! Oh my God, Lenore's the worst!
Mark my word, you will all despise her by the time I'm done.
Is anyone near Lenore? Because Tycho is not. Tycho is nowhere near her. Tycho has no clue that he is working for someone this despicable.
Neither does Stray.
Oh, she's truly an awful person. If this fails, I'll tell you what I had planned.
Don't.
I'll roll a perception check.
It's legitimately awful, and
Stop
it does involve
rolling
Stray
natural
for the
20s,
flavor.
me! This is the only time I didn't want to roll a natural 20. I didn't want anyone to hear Lenore. There is, what appears to be two mercs that hear you from the other car, because this car was empty besides you and your victim. So, two, mercenaries, hodgepodge, they don't look like they're a part of anyone in particular. They come running into the car, and they look at you, and they look at that guy, and they say, "He's a thief?"
A thief and a stowaway.
Well, roll a deception check with advantage.
Yeah, if they don't buy her, she's just gonna pay them.
That's 4. They sort of stiffen up a little and kind of just move in front of you in between you and the stowaway. Oh, that's with advantage.
That's still a
Yeah,
4.
that's still a 4.
Dice, please.
This is where you flash some money.
Yeah, no, she's gonna flash some money.
How much do you flash?
I have 65,000 on hand right now.
Yes.
She's gonna flash 20,000.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Time to roll another 4. I miss having high charisma.
That's a 19.
Yeah.
You see both of them kind of looking at each other for a minute, and then look at you, Lenore. There's like a guilt. There's like both of them have a little bit of a guilty look on their face, being so tempted. But then one of them turns around and starts running at the. I'm just gonna call him the Drifter. One of them starts running at the Drifter, and the other just kind of gives into the temptation and runs after him too.
Yeah, before they run, she's gonna tell them to bring the Drifter back to her room.
Okay.
So she flashes 20 coins for a poor soul.
Yep. God damn, this Drifter really wants to get away.
He wants to live.
The will to live is strong in this one.
Man. Okay, I'm gonna roll 2 more rolls for each of them. God damn!
Not today, Lenore. Not today.
Oh.
There's a low one.
Honestly, I count natural 20s as 2 successes. So, that's
So
1.
the Drifter wins.
That's 3. Yeah, the Drifter wins. And the Drifter gets away. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
All this trouble to catch a meal for Stray.
Oh, that's terrifying.
That's incredibly terrifying, actually.
Oh yeah, she needed a meal for him because eating like heals haunters, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. The medical tools were not for the Drifter. Her plan was to get Stray to agree to let her cut him open, just like completely to study what makes an intelligent undead, and then she was just gonna murder that guy and feed him to Stray so he could recover.
I mean, she's still got the entire train journey to try and enact her horrible, horrible plan.
Yeah, she does. She does, and this isn't a one-session travel thing. I have many things planned.
Well,
To
Well, I'm
each
finished
journey.
now. If you'd like to move on with the plot.
God.
Oh my god.
And Lenore has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 railroads to do that. That is 3 months, right? Half.
I mean, you said it was a half a month journey for the first part at least.
Yeah. It's about a half months for all of them, so 1, 2, 2.5 months.
We're taking boat at one point, which I assume is slower.
It is a little bit slower. It'd be about 3.5 actually.
Well, it's probably better because then she can just throw the body overboard if stuff goes wrong.
Jesus Christ.
wow.
I mean, you could just fling them out a train window.
So
I mean, yeah, but
after about
Yeah, but they,
after about an hour, Lenore, when the mercenaries don't come back, you just assume that they failed.
that's fair. She's gonna go drink away her disappointment.
God damn it.
Come join Cherry in the in the bar.
You don't have to like do anything with this. That can just be like a flavor thing, so you can move on with that, like plot.
Incredible. I did not think that would. God.
wow.
So, would anyone else like to do anything? Slash, would anyone else like to do anything that is just as awful as what Lenore just tried?
I don't think anyone has anything that's even close.
I feel would like to try and just see who's available in the marketplace and make use of his high charisma.
Okay, 1 second. I didn't press play on that. So, Tycho, you go to the market cart. I'll say this is all happening on the first day, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving back a little bit, you go and visit the market cart, Tycho, and let me pull out some tokens. General characters, shopkeepers. Her. Him. Yeah, that's all. So, this is who you see. On the top left corner, you have Z Lions. Type that down. Top right, you have Armand Zealous. Bottom left, you have Luck Vito. Bottom right, you have Percival Hammond II. I'm not going to write that down because you guys already know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Z Lions is a curator of not necessarily weapons, but things to build stuff with. So anything from automobile parts to gunpowder. Armand makes his own magical items. Luck Vito is very much in the same field as you, Tycho. He sells things that are stolen. He is a fence.
Mm-hmm.
Though not a part of the black market, he is more freelance. And Percival Hammond, as I said before, is a black market dealer. So you can assume if they don't work together, they have a fairly close relationship. At least
Okay.
buying and selling from one another.
Okay, and Taika would just know this or figure it out soon enough.
You'd figure it out soon enough. No one really hides who they are on a train. Mainly because if you're on a train with anyone, you're not going to see them twice.
Unless you go to the effort to.
Yeah.
He'll check with Armand first.
Okay. Armand is a very... You could tell pretty much from the moment you looked at him, he has a stick up his ass. He's very rich looking. And takes a lot of pride in his work. And generally, you get that feeling from most of the enchanters you've met. Because they're pretty high in demand.
Baby.
What? You okay?
Baby boy, baby.
What are you doing?
You've unintentionally made an NPC that has every aspect of characters that tend to become my favorite.
Oh. Okay.
This one. I'm adopting this one.
Exactly. Yes.
So, Armand,
My son.
as you walk up to him, market shops are set up a lot like outdoor marketplaces. Everyone has their own stall, and there are more stalls than just these four, but others tend to be more like provisional supplies, like food, clothing, things like that.
This is the interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is the interesting stuff. AKA the only ones I felt like pulling tokens for. Armand has a number of wares available. Some of them I haven't made yet, so if you buy anything, I'm gonna have to make something up. So, if you would like to take a look, you may. If you approach him, he doesn't say anything, though you get this very... Just having met Cherry once, he gets a very money-hungry look in his eye.
Yeah, then, if Tycho gets that type of feeling from him, that, Armand is not going to be... he's just not gonna have an item cheaper than 5k, he's not gonna interact with him today. He's just gonna be like, nice wares, and then, walk along to, Luck Vito.
Okay. Armand doesn't get disappointed, he gets angry at you for leaving. He doesn't say anything, but you can kind of get that feel from him.
Damn window shoppers.
Yeah.
I only have $5,000 and $1.
He doesn't care. He wants money.
He can get money from me later, after I've gotten some money from Lenore.
I like how Lenore is just the sugar mama of the party now.
Well, I've been employed,
That's fair.
and the money is, like, you said it was going to be like 3 or 4 days until that money comes in.
Yep.
So, Luck Vito.
Yeah. Luck Vito, he is very loud. Anyone that walks through the market cart, he's yelling at. Some of them he's heckling. Some of them he's just making fun of as they walk through. Others he's trying to... Basically, he's fishing for someone to look at his wares. You don't see any of them at the moment because they're all in what appears to be several briefcases. Briefcases like yours.
Mm-hmm.
That are open, and due to the nature, they don't see anything, but they are... He is ready to pull anything out should anyone wish for something. And he sees you, Tycho. You're going as Kazdi at the moment?
Yep.
He looks at you, Tycho, and he says, "Hey, you want something? Come get something. Come here. Come here right now. I have something for you. I don't know what it is, but I have something for you."
If you don't know what it is, how can I?
I don't know. How about we figure it out?
Sure.
Alright, come over here.
He walks over.
He pulls out a roll of toilet paper. Do you want this?
No.
Fuck. He puts the toilet paper back. Good, because that's mine. What do you want? Anything? You got any, preferences? Magic items? Just so you know, all my shit is stolen, so if you don't want any heat, you should probably find someone else.
Yeah, pretty much everything's stolen on this train anyway, isn't it?
I mean, that's
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, what are you looking for?
Something I can get with a few coins. If you've got something a little bit more, I can show up next week with more money, but for right now, I only have a few coins worth of money for shenanigans.
How
So,
many-
you got?
How many coins you got? How much can I milk you for?
$5 and $1.
Oh.
Stop trying to milk everyone.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up!
It's different.
It's different. Luck Vito sort of just taps his chin for a minute. and goes into the middle briefcase, one of three. And he pulls out a pistol. It is very nice looking.
Swear to God.
It is. No, it's not the other Rosewood. It is very nice. It's made of silver and golden metal. It has a pearl grip handle with a very nice, like, plated gold dragon that goes up to the barrel. And he says, so this is called Grand Dragon. At least that's what I've been told. It was made for some gangster up in Vestrit before it got stolen, and then it shifted hands for a while, and it eventually landed in mine because I have sticky fingers and don't know when to keep them to myself. So it has
a man of my own heart.
It has a lot of heat. I'm glad to see that you're a bird of a feather. It has a lot of heat, but if you keep it hidden for a while, it may the heat may die down on it a little. It'll be cheaper because of so much heat.
Sure. How much?
Give me a number.
$3,000.
I was gonna say $3,000 too. How about $3,000 and $1?
Sure.
$3,000 and $1 it is. And he sets it down in front of you.
Tycho grabs it, puts it in his pocket or whatever, trying to make it fit with the illusion. Have any other shenanigans? Something non-magical?
I got a few things. What are you looking for? How much trouble are you looking to cause?
At the moment, I'm not trying to cause any, but I want something that
Can get rid of any?
nah, something that has its own trouble. Starting someone else in throwing someone else under the bus and all.
Oh, okay. You want to put some heat on someone else. He sort of just looks at the cart, and he snaps his fingers, and an illusion appears around the two of you. So I got a few things. People can still hear us, but I don't want them seeing what I have. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
You got anything you can put this thing in if you buy it?
Yeah, I've got something.
Alright.
Tycho then morphs himself to look exactly like Luck Vito and says, I think I can hide it too. Till I get it there.
If you ever put my face on again, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Understandable. Just trying to let you know.
I
All but
get you.
fine.
Just don't do it again.
Yes, sir. He switches back.
He, he, goes to the far right briefcase and actually lifts it up, producing a different one, and he sets it down in front of you and opens the case. And from what you can tell, this is actually just a normal briefcase. And inside of it is what appears to be a like 3 foot by 1 foot map, rolled up slightly at the edges so that way it can fit in the briefcase. And it appears to be roll. Man, roll a history check. Wow.
At 20.
From what you can tell, this is a map slash blueprints of what appears to be a tomb. And he says, I don't know quite what this is. Back before Alessa shut down, I stole it from the Nezokirs. And, you know, Nezokirs being a family and all, it kind of got me in a heap load of trouble, so I can't go back to Alessa. No, It doesn't really matter at this point since it's under quarantine and all, and no one's been seen out of that city for months. But it's got quite a lot of heat on it, and if Alessa comes out of quarantine anytime soon, anyone found with it could get in a whole heap of trouble.
Lovely.
Now, because I don't know what the fuck it is, and because I like you, even though you put my face on, I'll give this to you for $1,000. On one
So-
condition. On one condition. If you ever find the tomb, you let me know where it is.
Yes, sir.
Shake on it.
He shakes and then goes, "Now how the hell am I supposed to find you?"
Just look up Luck Vito in any city. I have words. I have people all over the place. Now, I'm not some big muscle man with a lot of guns at his side. I just know a lot of people. Word will get to me eventually.
Alrighty.
What can I call you, Mr. Mini-Face Man?
Call me Gats. And he shifts to Gats
Okay.
with a smile.
Nice to meet you, Gats. I'm not gonna call you Gats anymore.
No, of course not.
He...
There are no names in this business.
That's right. He shakes your hand, and he casts Promise on you. It's a very old spell.
Alright. And you, description so I can write that down in the bio?
I will just tell you what it is.
Mhm.
Promise is that if you don't keep a promise that is kept, that you have made, essentially, if you break it, or do not keep it, luck will know.
Okay.
He nods, and then just takes the blueprint out from the briefcase and hands it to you. It's still rolled up.
Got it.
And he snaps his fingers again once you
Shift back to Kazdi.
yeah, once you shift back. So, now that I've stripped you of $4,000 and $1, anything else you want, or can I kick you out of my face so I can deal with someone else?
Right. Maybe see you around. Adios.
You got it, free man. I don't know why.
And,
I don't know why I said that, but he did.
he walks away.
Okay. Anyone else like to do anything?
Again, I ask, do you have anything major planned for this session?
There are a few things, but what would you like to do? I can push my things back.
Something not good again.
Shocking.
Okay.
So how heavy is the security to the room in which this artifact is kept?
Very. There are 2 skulls at all times.
And Ellis,
And else.
if there's a casting time.
So, how hard would it be for Lenore to get, what's his face, the tactical leader, to let her in to scope out the artifact?
I mean, you are allowed onto the cart.
Oh, cool, and she's just gonna walk in.
Okay.
Are the guards inside the room or outside the room?
There's one outside and there's one inside.
I don't
Oh,
know
that's-
why Lenore is even allowed near this thing.
So, we're gonna have to be quick about this.
Okay.
As quickly as possible. Hold on. Would she be able to recognize the magic circle Ellis put around it?
Yeah, more than likely.
Follow-up question, what exactly would she know this magic circle does? Because what spell did he cast exactly?
Can you cast Magic Circle so we can all see it? This actually wouldn't affect you.
Oh, cool. So, she's just gonna walk up and try to bond with the artifact.
Oh,
No, I take that back. I'm sorry. First, she's going to cast Modify Memory on the guard inside.
Okay. Yeah. Is that really that low of a level spell?
It's 5th level.
I thought it was higher than that. Okay.
Nope.
What does he have to roll? I know he has to roll something.
Have we been wrong? Okay.
I have been.
Okay. Good.
So, now, he's under Modify Memory for a minute, so he can't do anything.
What?
She's gonna try to bond with the artifact real quick.
He does have to roll something, though, doesn't he?
Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. This will be Osmond, so he succeeds. I have rolled more natural 20s in this game than I have any other game.
That is utterly ridiculous,
That's
and
like your
I will not.
fourth.
I will not
what is
submit to this
Osmond's
tyranny.
fucking? This I want to hear.
Osmond, he's a very quiet person. He's very intense. As you cast this spell on him, is it a touch spell?
Modify Memory has a 30-foot range.
He feels the effects of the spell try and press into him. And he just kind of closes his eye and shakes his head. And then he stares directly at you, Lenore. And he just points out the door.
Lenore's gonna follow his finger. Lenore's going to ignore that, and she's going to try to bond with the artifact anyway. You know, if people could just like fail throws, that'd be great. 'Cause I'm literally useless when you keep rolling nat 20s for everything.
It is amazing how many natural 20s I have rolled against Lenore. It is
And have you
amazing.
noticed that it's always against her? Like, it was never
Four.
the mercenaries.
Lenore is cursed.
So, you attempt to bond with the artifact.
Hmm.
Roll. God damn it, this is making me decide the nature of the Astraga sooner than I would originally.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No. Roll a charisma saving throw.
Oh, that's fun. I don't like that at all. Natural 1. Here we come.
No, that's 12. You touch the Astraga with the intent to bond to it. And you feel this warm sensation, and for a minute you think it's working. Before your entire arm goes numb, and it just falls to your side.
Well, she's just gonna walk up and walk out of the room.
Okay.
Actually, before she does it, I'd like to say that she did not give the guards the money, the mercs the money. She just flashed it.
No, you did not give them the money.
Okay, good. So she's gonna toss that 20K at Osmond with the pretty clear intention of mention this to no one.
Roll persuasion.
And then she leaves.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I hate you.
The Skulls are a very particular bunch. Yeah, this is still day one. natural 20 is pretty hard to argue against.
It's a 23 then.
Oh, still. Osmond looks from you to the money. And he just sort of sits down against the wall, leaving the money where it is on the floor. And closes his eye and kind of just rests his head.
So that officially concludes every awful, potentially harmful thing I have planned for this trip.
Okay.
All within the first day.
Your arm is numb for the entire day.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's... Essentially, you have lost a limb without losing a limb. Only for 24 hours.
Cool. Oh, let's say, does this last? Because if so, we're just chopping that thing off.
No, it only lasts for a day.
Cool.
Estraga didn't like you very much.
That's fair.
So, is there anything else anyone would like to do that is awful or otherwise on the first day?
If Lenora isn't gonna buy Cherry a drink, Cherry will just look for someone else who is wealthy to buy her a drink.
Roll an investigation.
Cherry could put it on Lenore's tab if she wants.
Does Lenore say this?
Yeah.
Okay,
That
well,
offer extends to pretty much every one of you guys.
wow, and Cherry thought she was special. Cherry's still gonna try and scout out some new wealthy friends, but...
Okay, roll an investigation check with proficiency because you're good at gold digging.
Investigation. I'm already proficient. Does that make me extra proficient?
That gives you expertise.
Nice. +4.
Well, I don't think
Nat
maybe.
20.
That's a natural 20. I find a whole group of very wealthy people.
No, we have not heard anything you've been saying.
Yeah, we have not heard a single thing you've been saying, Ellis.
Boy.
Let's give this a minute to see if we can figure out what's going on.
Do we all?
I guess none of us hear Ellis, like, at all.
No, I can't. It's
Disconnect
like
and reconnect to the call.
Yeah.
Make sure your mic's like plugged in too.
Yeah, check your mic settings and all of that. Are you...
He just disconnected.
Okay.
That's so wholesome. Way to make a 180 from Cleo and I.
Yeah. Does he speak?
Hello?
He does not speak. Is something unplugged with your mic or something?
Yeah, does your mic have like a mute thing on it that you might have accidentally hit?
Ow.
Or like a volume slider or something? That's weird.
Check your Discord settings?
Yeah. Because you're not even lighting up the
Flashing.
No.
door. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all of us, so we know it's not like a problem. Presumably not like a problem with all of our Discord settings. Even checked to make sure I hadn't turned him on local mute.
No, we still can't hear you.
Hmm.
Are you eating pretzels again, Emerald?
My bet is that's
Pringles.
Yeah, I knew it. check your audio settings. See if your mic is being picked up.
The weird thing is, we could hear him when he first joined the call.
Yeah. Sometimes, from what I've known, is that my mic sometimes doesn't get picked up. Which is why I do a lot of testing the night before.
Oh, dang.
That's weird. If it was a Discord update thing, we probably wouldn't have been able to hear him from the beginning.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want us to, like, all try to, like, just end this call completely and then get back on and see if that does anything?
Yeah, let's all leave the call real quick and see.
Okay. And now we wait.
Yep. Hey!
There
Yes.
we go.
Hey!
That is weird.
Funny how restarting Discord does that.
Yeah.
The prodigal son hath returned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the things that I typed in the chat.
Okay.
Does them.
Roll. What's cleric score? Wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Roll wisdom check with proficiency. You are well on your way to doing so. The initial starting of the spell. Oh, what is that noise?
Oh my god.
Hello?
That would be Jerry.
Yep. That something happened.
Are you okay?
That was.
Are you being abducted by aliens?
I mean,
Oh,
oh,
that's
Oh.
a blender.
that
That
would,
murdered my ears.
And now he's muted again.
How did it murder your ears if your OBS is silent as all heck?
Because I don't know what I did to my OBS audio settings, but my audio is actually pretty loud. Yeah, do so. But, note, Dart, note that, the, initial developing of the spell will cost you 25,000.
Oof. Okay,
Magic's expensive, y'all.
Very expensive.
indeed.
mhm.
And due to the nature of the spell, what is Speak with Dead? Second level?
Oh, Speak with Dead involves a corpse.
I know, but, like, what's the level?
I think it's second level.
Yeah, this will be a second level spell.
Already written it and everything. Out it as a second level spell, so
Okay.
yeah.
What are you calling it?
Seance.
Ooh, that's a good spell. Or a good name.
Naming things is a gift.
Yes. So, with the first day done, finally.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
my nat 20 to find wealthy people.
With expertise.
Yeah, that, so, that is plus 8. That is a 28, actually. Natural 20, 28. you find within the more vice-driven entertainment section of the train,
Excellent.
a fairly large number of wealthy people, all gambling or spending their money on men and or women, to take them back to their personal carts. You do find, I gotta make someone up, a race.
Dragonborn?
Fire Genasi woman in a very deep red dress that complements her her skin tone. Very long black hair that goes back to maybe the midsection of her back. You two talk it up a little bit, and she buys you very expensive, very liquor heavy drinks.
Lovely.
She is a heavy drinker, and when you're drunk, she looks buzzed.
Damn. What a woman.
Her name is Gina.
I was gonna say Marsha, but you know.
Stuart.
I was hoping for a fire pun.
I couldn't get Gina out of my head because Genasi.
Gina the Genasi.
Yes. Gina.
Her parents must have hated her.
Gina's a fine name.
Gina Ember.
Nice.
I hate it.
So, now that the first day is finally done, Cherry plenty drunk by the end of it. Alice. Music change. And Cherry, actually. And Tycho.
No.
All the hosts.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no. Did Ellis do to deserve any of this?
You
Other
gave,
than cast a spell?
you gave me the DM gun.
Oh no.
I didn't choose to. You took it. You took the DM gun.
I snatched the DM gun from all of you, whether or not you were handing it to me or not.
It's your gun.
It is my gun. None of you
You
should have had
asked
it.
us to reload it. You
Yeah.
asked us to reload.
It's
So,
like
I
the
said
Who
no.
Killed Hannibal thing. Just. Why would my players give me this?
I need to go on Meme Maker and make that now. So, in your night's sleep, scratching noise. In your night's sleep, you all wake up with a severe lower back pain. And the small of your back near your pelvis. You all wake up next to each other
What?
Oh, no.
on a barren salt plain. An undistinguishable mountain range all around you, really. Further away from you, there is what appears to be a group of people. Cleo is typing at me.
Don't worry about it.
Gosh, damn it. All of you see a number of people just standing in the salt plain. You can't distinguish them. You can't distinguish any features from here. And this tall, pure black, slender creature and peers in front of you. Tycho, you recognize it as the thing that called itself the creator of the continuance.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does it look anything like the thing in the dream that was dragging Ellis?
No.
Okay, great.
The other two would have seen it when Tycho
Oh,
morphed into it during that description.
Yes.
So they would actually recognize it as well.
You recognize it as the thing that Tycho turned into. A very
Okay.
tall, maybe 10 to 15 foot tall, dangly armed, very narrow creature with a floating red crown over its head. It peers down at each of you, this wide vertical eye that is just pure red with a singular, very small, no bigger than a dime of a black pupil, stares directly into each of your faces.
I flip it off.
Its lower face region seems to extend, and it just gives you this very jagged smile that isn't natural. Like, it knows what a smile is, but it's not right. It's not like this thing should be smiling.
I double flip it off.
And then it
Both
looks
hands.
it looks at each of you. And it just steps out of the way of the crowd that are now directly in front of you, though you saw no movement behind them. I can bring them back to you. Tycho, in front of you, you see your parents. Cherry, you see Ada. Ellis, you see your mother. You've never seen your mother,
My heart.
but you know it's her. You don't know how, but you feel it. Just get me out.
I wanna, like, look at this person, this Ada image, and I wanna, like, look for, like, details.
Everything
Do
that
you know how in dreams, like, they're on, like, details?
yes.
Or, like, something that's wrong, or something.
Roll an investigation check. Proficiency because you know Ada.
It's 24. If I get to add efficiency on top.
Yeah. So you look very closely, and you even reach out to touch her, and she's physical. Like, you can reach out and touch her, and there isn't a single thing off. It's no longer present, this creature, the creator. But the sky does turn a very deep red. And you look above you, and it is its eye looking above you. It's small black people now about the size of a moon. And its voice is omnipresent, though quite enough to be sort of essentially an inside voice. Gets me out, and I will give you knowledge. Knowledge of things that will never be known by anyone else.
Tycho nods.
Ellis, Cherry, any response?
This is on the verge of a breakdown. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
You know what? Since you said that, because you just loaded my DM gun again, roll wisdom saving throw.
Shit, okay.
Why
Not
is the
proficient in
players
those.
Okay. While he's doing that, Tycho
You're fine.
stands away from his family.
Mhm.
Not really coldly, but not inviting communication with whatever
They don't appear to
image
have.
or whatever.
They don't appear to have any sort of. There's no openness to them. They're just blank slates, but they are all them.
There.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cherry's still trying to find something wrong.
You're you're not finding any,
Theater.
You're not finding anything.
Tycho also looks at the other people's people.
Can we see each other?
Yes. So I will describe everyone. In front of Ellis is a celestial, an angel. Very tall, taller than normal people, about 7.5 feet tall. Very bright golden wings. A sort of like plated dress almost. She almost looks like a warrior queen. The way her dress and armor looks. A very elegant sword and sheath at her side. In front of Cherry, there is what appears to be a tiefling woman. Dark purple skin, long black horns that sort of curl over her head and then curl out to a point behind her. Long silver black hair, gray almost. It goes down to the midsection of her back. She appears to be wearing some sort of scientist uniform. In front of Tycho, there are two other tabaxi, man and a woman. Tabby-like fur. Essentially, they just look like Tycho. So yeah. Anything you guys would like to do?
Ellis would do in this situation. I mean, he's never seen his mother before, so goes in for a hug? Question mark.
You do so, and she is physical, but as I said before, they are blank. There is no personality to them, and
Puppets.
yeah, you hug her and there's nothing back. She even feels cold, despite the warm radiance about her.
Liz is just going to back up and say, this isn't her. Even though it feels like it's her.
Tycho just looks up at the creator and stares for a little while.
I would like Tycho to roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
Fuck.
Staring
Write down double host on your sheet.
staring at the creator's eye. That pain in your lower back near your pelvis. It's since you've gotten here, it's gotten less. It's dull. It's more just an annoyance than anything at this point. But as you stare at the eye of the creator, it gets too much, and you get these flashes of images. They're things that you can't understand purely because your mind can't handle what it is seeing. And you are not of your own volition forced to look away.
Tycho still attempts to be a bit defiant and says, you say you'll do what we want and bring them back, but what if that's not the plan? And just kind of...
Yeah, Cherry, frustrated with, the apparent reality of the body in front of her. Like, she just takes Ada's face in her hands and presses her forehead against hers, just like for a long moment. And when she pulls away, she like frustratedly wipes at her eyes, and she looks furious, and she just says, like, after Tycho says it, she's like, "I don't believe you.
Ellis is just
I
going
don't
to touch
fucking
the.
believe you."
This is going to touch his mother's dress again, and then just look at both Tycho and Cherry. Going to say, "This isn't real. Them back, but is it really them? I never knew my mother. For all I know, she could be vastly different from this. And take that chance."
Even if he brings them back, I don't want them. I've changed too much, and I don't feel don't feel I'd have their love, especially if I brought them alone.
Cherry kind of snorts a laughter at just this, at what they're saying, and she looks up at the gross sky eyeball, and she's like, she says, "Fucking prove yourself."
You feel your mechanical left arm fall away from you, Cherry. And you look down and see, though connected by scar tissue, your own arm.
I don't fucking believe anything in this place. Just because you can get inside people's head doesn't mean you have anything to fucking offer.
Three bolts of lightning exit the moon-like pupil of the eye. And for a moment, it seems like they're arcing at you and Tycho and Ellis. But instead, they go for the people in front of you. They go for Tycho's parents. They go for Ada. They go for Ellis's mother. And all you can hear is their screams. It sounds like their voices Tycho, I'd like you to roll a wisdom saving throw. Because you're somewhat familiar with this.
Mm-hmm.
You succeed, but... And even despite what you're saying, you can feel your core shakes a little. And after what feels like forever, the bolts leave them and they all collapse to the ground.
Let's just going to check on all of them.
Roll a medicine check.
Yeah, throughout the screaming, Cherry, like, just yells at the sky, and she just says, I don't fucking believe you. I don't fucking believe anything you're saying. You can't show me anything that I don't already know myself.
Even if this is all true, and you can give us information and you can bring them back, how are we supposed to bring you back?
With a natural 1, Ellis, you're too shaken up to know anything. They are fucked up beyond belief. That's all you can tell, really. Cherry, I would like you to make an intelligence check.
22.
You get these images in your head. Something you've been thinking about and something you toyed with not too long ago. Though you weren't able to do it properly due to certain limitations of the hardware you had. You learn code. Code that can appear as a conscience. Code that very specifically, when connected to the stone that you have, could be Ada's conscience. With that, the eye closes, just leaving this black sky, though all of the surroundings around you appear to be bright, as if it was in the middle of the day. Leaving you in front of Ada, your mother Ellis, and your parents Tycho.
Two members of my entire family won't bring back my childhood, nor will the full family. What is he trying to get with bribing us with this? Information alone is better than taking the dead from where they should lie.
Cherry picks up like a fucking rock or something and just hurls it at the sky.
Okay. You throw it, it comes back down.
Gravity.
How's her flesh arm?
Oh, once the eye closed, her arm was back to mechanic.
Ellis just sits on the ground and holds his head for a minute.
As you guys are sitting there, the people in front of you, their bodies begin to wither into this ash-like substance and blow away with the wind. And very slowly, the mountains around you and the salt plain all just turn into this fine dust. And for a moment, you're left falling before each of you wake up out of breath and a cold sweat in each of your beds. Music change.
How early in the morning is it?
It is close to 4 a.m. and each of you wake up and look out your windows, and all of you see a camellia. Camellia are a lizard type people who are nocturnal, and all of you guys would know this, that they are hired by trains specifically to do like window cleaning during the night, as they are very quiet. So each of you look out your windows and see this lizard-like individual cleaning your window.
That's really fucking creepy.
Yep. Oh no,
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but still.
Yeah.
Tycho doesn't have time for that, and he stands up and he walks directly to which one's closer to him? Tycho's economy, whatever, was in the front of the set.
You would have to go past Lenore, past Stray, past the Estraga, and I think Cherry, I said, was first.
Yeah, directly to Cherry.
Okay. I think Cleo's typing at me. Depends. What should you have tried?
Oh, duh.
Cherry's not in her room. So you would have to go to Ellis, which I believe
Tycho goes to Ellis's.
Yeah. Tycho is in the, or Ellis is in the next car.
Tycho doesn't
Ellis?
even walk. Tycho just opens the door.
At the window, staring out at the moon, if there is a moon.
Yeah,
Out.
there's a moon. There are actually two on this world.
The moons.
One is larger than the other, and one, all of you would know, is that it's actually not a full moon. It's the moon of the moon. It's actually what appears to be like a destroyed, very large destroyed asteroid that just sort of circles around the moon.
A moon, if you will.
A moon. I hate that that's the actual scientific phrase for that.
Mm-hmm.
But Ellis is there, looking at the moon and the moon out his window.
Tycho shifts from Kazdi to Tycho and just walks straight through and goes, Ellis.
What is it?
What'd you say?
What is it?
You're awake.
As are you.
You see Cherry too?
I haven't seen her today here and at the Estraga, but whatever that was.
Yeah. That hurt.
Did. I don't know what's going on. I really don't, but I need answers. That was my mom.
I don't even need the answers. I just need the questions.
There's just so much happening at once. I can't even get into contact with my friends in Legacy. Now this.
We'll get there soon enough. Yeah, you think I should let my employer know about that dream as well? Because, I won't be allowed to keep it to myself. If I tell the dream in any part, she's gonna bring both you and Cherry in for, basically interrogation on what just happened in that dream, because what the hell?
Indeed.
I hate seeing spirits, man.
You said it.
I know. In character, he says that deadpan.
Ellis is just chuckling. I've had a lot of those recently. The thing we saw.
Yes?
Absolutely certain that I was the first that came into contact with it.
I'll keep that a secret as well. That's reassuring, I guess?
Not exactly. I
Do
have
you
something
think you let it out?
No, it's... Hang on, I have to find this page. I wrote down that message. Fuck, I can't find it. It'll take a minute. Not that page. Maybe this page? Not that page. Found it. Hang on. You've heard of Vanderlisk, haven't you?
Yeah. Just when I saw that creator earlier, 10 days ago. Wait, no, it'd be longer than that. It'd be like 20 days ago now.
Yeah, it's been
It was 10, and then it was a few days for before we got on the train.
Yeah,
So
it's
14, whatever.
yeah, it's been
2
close
weeks
to
ago.
half a month. Yeah.
No, only 2 weeks ago when I shot that thing with Stray and had that thing that happened when I fell unconscious. It's the first time I had ever seen it or heard that name. Why do you
Well,
ask?
Recently. Well, I don't think it would be recently because it's a month and a half since I cast Divination. Right.
It's been closer to a month. It's been longer than the 14 days.
Well, before any of this, really, before the incident in Dry City, and I sought audience with a spirit that could give me some information, at least, about what happened, and the answer that it gave me to say the least. Vanderlisk has everything to do with the continuance. What I was told, he's had everything to happen, part of everything that's happened within the past 5,000 years.
Would that include the flares?
Oh,
It was vague. Again, you're not sure.
I only have conjecture at this point.
Tycho walks next to Ellis and looks out the window with him.
Okay.
I don't know what this has to do with anything. Finding Vanderlisk puts right everything in the world. Say no to that. I don't know if I can say no to this.
I don't think we have a choice. Even if doing so puts the world better, I think the only options are we try or we die. I think that or we die trying. I don't think there's a Vanderlisk is gonna be some puppet master on strings. I don't know what it has to do with anything, but I'm sure it has to do with everything.
You said it.
Any idea where Cherry is? I might have
Well,
woke up Nerome.
I assume, like, he was in the need for a drink, so I'd suggest the bar cart.
Kane just pulls out his phone and dials her number.
Would Cherry have her phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's not gonna answer.
Ellis goes and makes himself a couple drinks.
Okay. The bar cart is fairly empty, and the man running it appears to be a vampire, so he's there for the night grab. Anything else anyone would like to do? Or specifically the three of you, anyways.
I don't think Ellis would go back to sleep. I think he'd continue working on the spell.
Okay. So, as morning yep.
Tycho's gonna go check in on Stray
Okay.
and knock a little bit.
Stray doesn't appear to be asleep. They come to the door. It kind of feels like they wait a little longer than is normal to answer a door. And you know, Tycho knows that they heard it because the window has like essentially an open curtain. And they looked at the door directly at Tycho and just kind of waited for a little bit. And after about a minute, they stand up and go to the door and answer it. Yeah?
Saw that creator again. Uh huh. There was
They on the train?
no, but they're in my head,
Oh,
and
spooky.
I hate it. And I doubt I can ask you for any helpful questions since you were in a tomb for quite a while. You said, but do you remember anything from before the flares?
I mean, technically I was alive before them. Alive, and they make quotation marks. But, no one exactly let me out during them. So, about all I can remember seeing for about 5,000 years or so is just spirits of the tomb I was in. Don't know much besides that.
Were they would they have anything similar to, and Tycho describes like the puppet nature where they're perfect, however they're hollow. And
Yeah. I get what you mean. Describing what you saw. Like they're corporeal, but they're not personal. Personal? Yeah. And they shake their head. Nah, it's more the traditional ghost. Spirit-like. Kind of angry looking sometimes. Really depends on how they were killed.
so the opposite.
Yeah, more the spirit that just kind of hung around, not the hollow husk of an individual.
Mind if I come in and take some time from you?
$50.
Sure. He comes in and just tosses him a coin, his last coin.
Okay, so Tycho is broken now.
Currently, yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot for something that's $50.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it, and I'm sure he can take some more time later.
Stray catches the coin and looks at it. Kind of moves the. As you know, Stray, and they're currently not wearing clothes. It's just the bandages around them. How they see is unknown to you, but they sort of just move a bandage out of the way of their eye, and taking a closer look at it, now that you're close, it's like they have two eyes in one. There are two pupils and two irises, it seems like, as they look at the coin, and they look at you, and they just toss it on their bed and close the door, fixing the bandage out of their eye. That's, what do you want?
Tycho describes the dream.
Alright. Supposed to know anything? I mean...
No, but I need to, tell someone that's not, gonna grill me for all the information.
Yeah. I don't trust Lenore. That's why I didn't sign her contract.
When I read the contract, I can get out of it if I need to.
Just make sure she doesn't kill you for it. Regardless, Regardless. It sounds to me like this creator person, this thing that I shot at back in Dry City, it's very, desperate. Do I feel like it could do it? Yeah. I mean, it made... I gotta count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It made 9 beams appear from each of the cities, including Dry City, shoot up into the sky and make the sky go red. So, I think it's a pretty strong thing, whatever the fuck it is. And I feel like it may have more tricks up its sleeve to try and get you to do what it wants. Frankly, how I operate. I'm gonna tell you a secret no one else really knows. Yeah, pretty much. He's a very cheap buy. I operate on gut feelings, not things that are given to me naturally. There's this thing called a dawn. Everyone knows about it. It gets in my head and says I should follow hunches. A lot of these hunches get me into this sort of divine misfortune. And while generally I hate it, I've leaned into it. Doesn't make me any less defiant of it. So, I guess what I mean to say is, if our ultimate destination is inevitably going to be setting this thing free, do it the way you want. Lean into it in a way that makes it yours.
Face God and walk backwards into hell.
Similar.
Alright then. Thank you for your time.
And, if that thing tells you any more about Vanderlisk, tell me about it, will ya?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I know that name. Get out of my cart.
He's already on his way out.
Okay. Stray closes the door behind you and closes the curtain. Anything else anyone would like to do?
Not me. I'm just kind of here for the ride.
Yeah.
Not
I
that
think
night.
he was specifically asking hosty people.
Yeah. Anything the hosts would like to do.
Nope.
Not for a couple days.
Stare at the moons.
Yeah.
And stare at the rising sun.
Yeah. The next morning, those that were asleep or that went to sleep after waking up, each of you wake up kind of later on in the day. You feel incredibly well rested, at least if you slept in your personal carts. And notice that you're stopped. It's not an unscheduled stop. All of you knew that you guys would be stopping at a station later on in the day today, though it appears that you got there early. Ellis, would you still be in the bar cart?
No.
Okay.
By that time, he'd probably have retired to his room, though not sleep.
Who would be closest to the bar cart? Lenore and Tycho. Lenore and Tycho, the two of you hear what sounds like a struggle.
Like a what?
A struggle coming from the bar cart. There are a few gunshots here and there, and what sounds like the crashing of glass, or the breaking of glass, rather. And everyone currently in their personal carts gets an alarm from the skulls. It's not someone's trying to steal the Astraga kind of alarm, but one that is to get you on alert. Something's going down, something's happening.
Unfortunate.
When in the day is this?
This is getting closer. This is getting close to about 10 a.m.
Okay.
Tycho's gonna go check it out.
So,
Can't keep
Yeah.
himself idle with so much shit going through his head.
I mean, if we all get the
Hey.
message, I would assume that we would all check on it.
Yeah. Lenore's going out with her flintlock over her shoulder. How fortuitous. She might be able to find a corpse without having to even kidnap anybody. This is perfect.
Lord.
Ellis doesn't take Chrome. He takes Goblin this time.
okay.
Tycho
Does-
has no visible weapon.
Does Cherry get a message of some kind?
Yeah, you do get a text.
Okay. Does the text say,
It just says alert. It gives you a brief summary that something might be going down. It's not entirely sure whether or not the Astraga is trying to be, or is currently being stolen, but there's something happening near it, and everyone needs to be there.
no, okay.
The first person to reach the bar cart is Lenore. Lenore, Tycho, and I think Korik, because fly speed.
Right.
Um,
Assuming there's enough space in this area for him to fly.
there isn't, but you could, theoretically, if you wanted to, you could leave your cart because the train has stopped and fly around to get there, if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, that works.
If Cherry goes through by her room on the way to the bar cart area, she'll pick up Maxine
Okay.
and her, like, bug out combat bag.
Yeah. I will say the other cart was behind the Astraga train. Lenore,
Okay.
Lenore, Tycho, and Korik. The first person that apparently reached there was Stray. And you see a number of people with aimed guns directly at them.
At
You
whom?
see at Stray.
Okay.
You see a smaller individual standing behind Stray. And in front of Stray, currently on the bar with what appears to be a shot glass in their eye, a free market spine. I'll pull out the token. Free market spines, Tycho and Lenore would recognize as essentially the spec ops of the free market. They are the ones who do things quietly within the organization. And as the two of you walk in, Stray doesn't look at the two of you, but they say, "Our friend behind me told me that some birds here would like our Astraga." The small individual, by now Ellis and Cherry would be arriving. Appears to be Kate.
Okay.
Cherry, you recognize Spines as well. They're mainly who you deal with the few times that you've worked with the free market.
So is it like we're again all of the people pointing guns at Stray are the people Taika would be against at this point.
More or less, though there are what appear to be Spines and gangsters. None of you recognize them except for Korik. Korik, you recognize a few Revar faces here.
Mm-hmm.
One of them specifically recognizes you and just redirects his aim at you. And at the moment, you have a very large Mexican standoff.
Taiko is gonna put the shadow dog on the guy that has the shot glass in his eye.
Yeah,
which causes him. He has a sense of dread, and Taiko always knows where he is until the guy dies.
The Spine that was currently on the counter with the shot glass in his eye. You can see that Stray pretty much just from context clues around lifted them onto the bar, smashed them down, and just smashed a shot glass in their eye through the little socket of their mask. They stand up and just aim their gun directly in Stray's face. And though they are looking at you, seeing you cast the
It's not really a cast. It's just kind of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What is everyone doing in this Mexican standoff?
So, you're ready to hate me?
Okay.
Oh no.
Because first I have a question.
Hmm.
Would the booze here, would you count it as water?
Oh no.
I mean, it's a liquid.
Perfect.
It's at least partially water.
Perfect. She materializes 8 water elementals to turn the tide more in their favor.
So, from the bar counter, which still has the vampire bartender, though they are currently wearing more skin-covering clothing, just erupts as 8 water elementals just break out from the larger liquor bottles and the smaller ones, just sort of culminating into this. Some of them are brown, some of them are clear, some of them are mixtures of colors, some of them appear to be bluish from like sky blue liquor or something. It's a mishmash of alcoholic water elementals. I'm going to note that they have a combustible trait. Just remind me if fire happens at all.
And then they become fire elementals.
Yeah, essentially. At the same time, Strays, the runes on their bandages become this very bright blue, and and an aura emits from them. He's going to do frightening aura. I have to make DC 15 saving throws.
Would that guy would the guy who now has a sense of dread have disadvantage because of the shadow dog on him?
Yeah, I'd allow it.
And would I be able to summon a cherub and cast Death Ward on Dre in this time?
Yeah, you can do so.
Cool.
There is, as long as no actual guns are being fired, preparatory things are okay for the moment. That's a failure. That's a save. Fail. One more. So, 2 of the 5 succeed. 2 and 4 of the Revar. That's a success, and that's a failure. So the 2 Revar with the spines, one of them, namely the one that is pointing a gun at you, Korik, readjusts his aim back to Stray, though it's very shaky hand. And, with the fear, the water elementals, the spine leader currently being hounded by a shadow dog, and a shot glass in his eye. Stray is just going to look at all of them, and they're gonna say, "Get off the train or you're not leaving it." And that'll be intimidation check with advantage. Okay.
Nat 20!
God.
That's what
Why
XYZ
are
does.
you like this?
I don't know. I don't know where all these natural 20s coming from. I'm just pulling them out of my pockets like it's nothing.
At least this time it
It was in
held us
you're
apart.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, with everything, that's just a success.
Mm-hmm.
Really though, all this Nat 20 did was once again prevent Lenore from getting a hostage and or corpse.
I mean,
Just
Oh,
wait.
I doubt.
Just wait one
Just
second.
wait.
Just wait. All of them leave. And as the one that pointed the gun at you, Korik, starts to get off the train, Stray immediately closes in and goes for a grapple.
good.
What the fuck?
Was it a natural 20?
I mean,
If he had advantage, it would be.
does
It was a
fear-
nat 18 and a nat 20.
does Frighten give you advantage on attacks? I don't think it does.
No,
No.
frightened. If they are frightened, they,
They
have
have-
disadvantage.
Yeah, they have disadvantage, but it doesn't give you advantage if they're frightened of you.
Correct.
Hey,
Okay.
don't.
Yeah.
So that's just the 26. Just the 26, I say.
Yeah.
They have to try and
Yeah.
beat that.
Indeed. They have to roll a natural 20 to succeed, and they don't.
Thank God.
Close.
And Stray just... Stray pulls them in and shuts the door behind them. Goes down on the ground and tries to put them into an arm bar, trying to pin them. 17. That's a success.
Mhm.
But they are still grappled.
Grappled.
Yeah. And Stray just looks to you, Korik, and he says, is still trying to get them in an arm bar, but still looking at you. I think this one has business with you.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he's gonna talk.
I can make him talk if you'll let me.
He'll talk.
No, this is Ravar. That guy the guy that you shadow dogged was the first one out of the train.
Good, and I have that doesn't have a duration, by the way, so I just keep track of where he is until I decide to stop keeping track of it, so I can know where he is for the rest of his life, if I so choose.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Boy.
That's kind of OP.
Yeah,
As
it's hard to use.
as this is happening, a few of the skulls show up because the skulls mainly stayed around Estraga, so it's just Dutch and Osmond that come and see what the situation is. And they see that it's already been handled by you guys, and Stray is just on the ground, arm barring just some poor fucker. But they do get him up, Stray, and just sort of sits him on the bar, like on a stool. Yeah. What is Stray gonna do to intimidate this poor fuck? Not that he needs to at this point.
How about I do the intimidation, because I'm
No,
20
actually,
charisma, but you're plus 12.
I,
Yeah.
I have a request if we're intimidating / advanced interrogationing this guy.
Yeah, I have a feeling this may become a little bit like Guantanamo.
Oh,
Hmm.
you read my thoughts exactly.
I have an idea too. So this
I
is
have an idea also.
Oh my god, we're all awful!
Are you granting me permission?
I mean, I'm granting everyone permission. As long as everyone is okay with torture in general, you have free reign.
So
Let's
who wants to
cast
go first?
Bane.
Tycho makes
Oh.
everyone a knife.
Let's cast Bane.
Lenore
Cherry.
is
Just gonna
just
ping it.
Cherry's like, you look like you got this.
Lenore's using the water elementals to literally all the booze elementals are literally just like wrapping around his face, basically waterboarding this poor guy, pulling
What?
away just in time to keep him alive.
You're waterboarding him with alcohol. That is so much worse.
Why not just get him fucking drunk? Then he'll be terrified as hell. As though he isn't already.
So, how well do I know this guy?
You know him as Leonid? He's, at least when you knew him, let me type in his name.
Mhm.
He was, fairly low on the bar. Personal security for the most part, for, like, the Dawn. Though, just kind of offhand. Essentially, he was one of the, dried up gangsters that didn't do a whole lot besides sit in a bar and get drunk. Which is a fair amount of
Gotcha.
the bar. And that's the last you heard.
Yeah, he's not worth the idea that I had. That's a 3rd level spell. He's not worth that.
So, what I'm hearing is I get to keep him.
We'll see. First, I'm not gonna take the knife because I don't need it.
Yeah. Stray isn't gonna take the knife either. He has a kukri of his own that he can use.
As do I.
Instead, I'm gonna grab him by the throat, making sure my talons go in just a little.
Okay.
This poor bastard's being choked and waterboarded.
Actually, instead of casting Bane, Ellis is going to throw a healing word.
Keeping him alive.
Yeah, essentially, this guy's hit points went from. I didn't even really have a sheet for him. It went from 75 to 1 fairly quickly because he was being fucking drowned by alcohol. But yeah, he's basically being kept alive at 1. Very, like, you're stepping lines and redrawing new ones very quickly.
So, you're gonna tell me what you're doing here, or I'm gonna crush your windpipe.
As you're saying this, Stray just grabs one of their arms, one that is grabbing cores, sets it down on the bar, displays their fingers, and starts doing the knife game with the Kukri.
Oof.
With his own hand, with his hand.
If Tycho then says, and don't think having your windpipe crushed is an excuse not to talk. We have a few people who can handle that, and yeah, you can have your throat crushed more than once.
Threatening with revival just to die again.
Because I can totally do it.
The alcohol spirits are going to come up off his mouth so he can talk, but they're still very much surrounding from his mouth up, like his eyes and his nose.
Yeah, Core, roll me intimidation with advantage, +5, plus fucking expertise.
Natural 1, please.
So a +9 on top of whatever you have, unless you have.
So I've got a +1 naturally.
So whatever you roll +10.
Yep.
Was
Wait,
that
no,
advantage?
plus 13. Yeah, and he did say at advantage.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so whatever you roll with advantage +13.
Natural.
Also going to cast Zone of Truth.
Okay.
That's a total of
Chaotic Windows, no, plus...
Oh, did we roll for my elemental?
I think
Oh,
I did.
You didn't. I got it.
Okay.
That's a 19 on the die, so that's like a
30,
Yes.
31.
30,
No, 30...
32.
32.
Yep. What Stray got without a natural 20. And he's just nodding his head at this point. Like, he probably doesn't even hear what you're saying through the alcoholic water elementals that are fucking surrounding his head and body. But he just says yes. And he says, Carlos sent us to get the Astraga. That's all I know. That's all we were told. We were told to meet with the free market guys, and we were told to get it. We had a car and everything. It was supposed to be a good plan, but then knife fuck. He just turns his head towards Stray, who hears that and is going to cut off his thumb. They don't like being
Mentioned.
yeah. That's an attack.
Yeah.
Right. His thumb is gone.
Yeah.
The thumb back on.
Jesus.
Even
So are
do I
the
need to
skull
roll
guys
that?
watching this?
The Skull guys are currently watching this through the or
Security cameras.
not security cameras, but like they're just in the bar, and they're not getting in the middle of this because this is clearly business that isn't associated with the Skull, so they're okay with it. Though it is good that they know what is going on. It was Carlos Rivar. It was his plan. He's the left hand now, and just fuck, let me go.
Are we done with him?
Ruh-roh.
I almost want to let him go just so he can send a message. What do you guys think?
I would like an arm. Hungry.
He'll live. You can take it if you want.
Ellis is yes.
I am a healer.
Okay. Tycho summons like just something even bigger than the frickin' kukri, something that would be perfect for it, and just hands it off to Stray, or offers it to Stray. Bigger knife?
They stab the kukri into their hand, grab the summoned weapon. I'm going to say it's essentially a machete, like a larger one, good for hacking off limbs, like a hooked one almost. And they just gingerly put the hook on the shoulder and wait for Korik to give the say-so.
I do request the hand, though.
An arm's enough. I'll give you the hand.
Thank you.
Now, the real question is, what exactly do we want this poor sap to relay to his boss?
Not to come at us again?
I have a feeling that would probably backfire.
What was the name of this guy's leader?
Carlos Rivar.
Yep.
I know that name very well, in and out of character.
Yep. Actually, you would too, Tycho. Carlos Rivar is essentially the top hitman for the Rivar family.
Am I gonna have to destroy the free market and the Kesman Raiders? God damn, I'm gonna kill both of them. Ugh.
I would help you with that. That would give her literally a complete monopoly over Dry City, so she'd be down if you wanted more money to do
Oh
that.
my god.
I love this.
Yeah.
Just to throw it out there, she has significantly more money not on hand than the 100K she started with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you, Corey. Clearly, he recognizes your face, so he's gonna tell Carlos about you whether or not you want to.
That is true. I'm sure Carlos is already looking for me. Probably has been for quite some time, actually.
Depends if you want heat or if you don't.
Tell you what. Tell Carlos that what happened to you is nothing compared to what I'm gonna do to him.
Stray laughs at that. I like that. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Can I have his arm now?
I just nod.
Stray kind of just runs the edge of the hooked blade up the shoulder, cutting the shoulder a bit, before they just pull it down in one swift motion. And I'm going to assume this is what Lenore does. As Leonid begins to scream, the water elementals just sort of clog his mouth to muffle it.
It's out.
Yeah.
So he can drink it to numb it.
Yep.
It'll work.
And Stray, satisfied, cuts off the hand with his kukri and tosses it to Lenore.
She's gonna grab it midair with Mage Hand.
Okay.
Ellis is going to wait until he passes out. And
It's-
then,
It is
mend
not
him.
long at all. Between swallowing an abundant amount of alcohol because of the scream and the major amount of blood loss that he suffers.
And
Yeah.
shock from all the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is not long. Like, there is maybe a few kicks before he's out. The water elementals fall away, and he's just bleeding out on the counter.
In a pool of alcohol.
Yeah, and you do see the vampire sort of just come up from the bar, grab a glass, and put it under the arm, essentially, for himself.
Sharing is caring.
And
Wow.
he just
We're fucked up.
he raises the glass to you guys and just sort of sets it under the, like, in a cupboard under the counter for himself later. So, Ellis, you want to heal this fuck and get him on his way? He at least needs to be
Sure.
able to walk. You cast Cure Wounds, and the blood stops from the missing arm cut off at the shoulder. And he wakes up, sees that he's currently missing one arm, sees all of you standing around him, and he just fucking runs. Although, albeit very drunkenly, he does trip and has to crawl a few steps before he gets out of the bar car. And you just hear him yelling at the Spines and the other Revar member, and he's just saying, "Fucking run! It's not worth it! Fucking, we're out! Leave!" And you see,
Probably giving this poor man like PTSD.
oh, absolutely. Like, if he ever sees you guys again, he's gonna have a mental breakdown.
His name is Leonid, right?
Yeah.
We can find him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is blood. He is Leonid Revar. He's nothing special in the Revar family, but, you know. Anyways, you see the Spines and the Revars all just bug out in this fairly large vehicle that you would assume was for the Astraga. And, the vampire bartender, just as a... Normally I'd put a bar fight on the tab, but, considering they were a bunch of fucks, it's not on you. But the bar is going to be closed for the day, so you'll probably have to find another one a few carts over. I got some, cleaning up to do. And, Dutch says that as Osmond just starts walking away. Well, certainly not conventional by any means, but, glad to see that was handled. Good work. Remind me to get on none of your bad sides. And he just...
Lenore winks at him.
You've never seen a human physically repulse at you, Lenore, harder than Dutch has.
Not even the freaking guy from last night?
No, like, it was hard. And he walks out of the cart a little bit faster.
Tycho offers to help with cleaning up.
The vampire appreciates it. I have to give him a name now.
Mm-hmm.
Victor.
Of course.
Yeah. Victor the vampire, Gina the fire genasi.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
Yep.
So, completely off topic, but vampires made me think. Despite Roland being dead, I do have to ask something. Did Oscar survive the raid?
You don't know. But all of this being the case, is there anything anyone would like to do on the second day before I call a session?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
No, hey, so first question. I'm gonna assume that guy we tortured had killed a person.
Yes, there was one dead individual within the car. Um, it
Oh,
appeared,
cool, yeet.
It appeared. Did you just say yeet about a dead body?
Yes.
God damn it. It appears that it was the child who Stray was essentially protecting. It was the parent of the child who Stray was protecting.
Oh, score!
Wow.
Um,
That's terrible.
I'm a terrible
Thank
person.
you.
No, not you.
Decidedly not you this time, Tyler. For once.
Yeah, I have a feeling me and Worm and I are going to be competing for a little bit. But yeah, there is one dead person in that cart.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
So-
child's other parent present, or
No,
No, the other
I'm
one.
gonna revive that guy.
it is past a minute.
Them. Never mind then. In that case, ritual ceremony is for the dead guy. Funeral
it
rites.
takes
Here
an
we go.
hour? It takes an hour.
Funeral riot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Lenore, if you wanted to make him an undead, you can't for the next 7 days.
Oh, I didn't want to. I was just glad that that means he murdered a guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Emerald realizes where I'm going with the hand.
I mean, as far as that person having murdered someone, like, just in general,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, Leonid more than likely has, though you're not sure if that was the person who killed it or not, but them or not.
That doesn't matter. So, would it take, since I'm not reanimating the whole body, would it take a use of reanimate dead to turn this hand into a crawling claw?
Hold on. Hold on. Are you trying to make the hand from the Addams family?
Yes.
I don't see how that's relevant.
It's actually there is actually a crawling claw creature.
Which
Yeah, there
It
is
exists.
in the monster manual.
yes, but it is basically,
The Addams family hand.
yeah,
Yes.
Are you trying to make this your familiar?
probably.
I already have a familiar.
So,
Honestly, I don't see why not.
But would it take a spell slot to do?
Yes.
Alright then. I now have a crawling claw.
Okay. You now have a crawling claw.
Does he have to worry about like the duration on undead control or whatever, or is it just
Honestly,
Hand wave.
it's such a minor thing. It's not a full-on body. I would say, with the magic preserving it, you would have quite a while, maybe a month, essentially, of animate dead on this crawling claw.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
every month you'd have to recast it.
That's cool. Also, you laugh now, but one day this thing is gonna save our butts against an evil cleric. I tell you, these crawling claws are immune to turn undead.
Okay.
Okay, considering what just happened, it's probably gonna be a good cleric.
mean,
Evil is
It's
relative.
gonna be a cleric of light and righteousness.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
like,
come in and just like
considering
try to
the group
fucking murder
composition-
Lenore.
considering the group composition and what just happened, it's probably going to be a good one. But anyways, you now have a crawling cloth, though it might not be an evil one because technically they were a bunch of bad guys. So you know, moral ambiguity.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a crawling claw now. Would anyone else like to do anything?
Cherry is going to open up her laptop and take the Lockheed code and start working on it.
Okay.
It's going to continue working on said spell.
Tycho, after helping clean up, would take a look at the map that he put in Lenore's cabin.
Oh,
And
the tomb map.
Yeah, and just try to figure it out some.
Okay. As of right now, the kid is going to stay in Stray's cabin. Stray will be sleeping in economy.
The kid could stay in Lenore's cabin.
No.
No,
Could.
not allowed.
Won't.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
No children.
Well, Stray will still be staying in their cabin, but as far as sleeping goes, he will be sleeping in economy. Roll. Tycho, roll. Roll a history check. Again, it's old. The language is very clearly dead. And the tomb appears to be fairly large, located underneath one of the mountain ranges of the Badlands. Other than that, you can't read anything such as a name of the tomb or its actual location anywhere. But other than that, that's all you can really surmise.
Alrighty.
It's a very large tomb, too. It's a few miles under the ground, and about 2 miles in square footage worth of tomb.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyone else like to do anything?
I mean, just what purpose do I make with the code?
Are you working with the code the creator gave you or the Lockheed code?
Both.
With both, you make exponential progress. And the way the creator code works, it's weird. As in, this is code that you would find in pretty much anything. But the way the program works with the Lockheed code, it sort of meshes together. And getting towards the end of your progress on it, you can see the code almost begins. Are you plugging it into the auto code, or like the auto stone, or just working on the code?
I mean, it has to be plugged in, doesn't it? 'Cause it's like...
It doesn't have to be. I remember you saying you did copy the Lockheed code.
Okay. I mean, whatever, I'm not running it yet.
Yeah, I know. But towards the end of your work, like you working on it, even though you haven't run it, it's almost like there are lines of dialogue being added.
So do I like finish it up or
You don't finish it, but you make a lot of progress. This would have taken you years, and now it's down to months.
okay?
Anyone else like to do anything?
What's Ellis's progress on the spell?
Roll me another wisdom check with proficiency.
Come on. There we go.
It'll take you about a week. As long as you keep this progress up.
Understood.
If no one else would like to do anything, I will call the session there.
Uh, so, despite the fact that I lack a court, I think Lenore's gonna ask Stray to come to a room so she can study him.
Okay. How do you word it?
Death ward lasts
Saying,
8 hours, so he won't be really dead.
Understood.
you see, there's the obvious of I want to see what's inside you,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how to word it.
What makes him
Uh,
tick?
Get in
Question
here,
mark?
I'll pay you.
How much?
Name a price.
Well, if you're gonna be cutting me open, give me 10 grand.
So cheap.
I'll give you 20.
25.
Damn.
Deal.
And suddenly, Stray is that much richer.
Screams and moans and fetid smells.
And Tycho is still broke.
Actually, Stray hardly makes any noise. They are resistant to non-magical damage, and frankly, they've had a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Getting under the bandages, because Stray doesn't let you cut them at all. It's a very fucked up sight. You've seen more fucked up, obviously, just by your nature, and just what I'm assuming at this point. It's not a rotting body by any means, but it is a body that has been burnt to extreme degrees. Burn marks that start from the feet up to about the midsection towards the chest area. And, ooh, that's unpleasant. You can at least begin to gather that maybe the way Stray died was via being burned to death from the top,
Oh,
from the bottom up.
what she's mainly looking for is something that seems like it separates him from the other undead she's messed around with. Like, is there anything special about the Haunter anatomy, or does she feel like any special kind of magic in the haunter
You
compared to just normal necromantic?
you cut inside and you do see that while vampire and normal undead organs do not function, hunter organs do. The way a hunter works is that they no longer have blood. Instead, they are essentially living off of the rot that would be happening off their bodies normally. So, whereas people have normal red blood, hunters have this like black sludge running through them almost.
Mm-hmm.
And roll me an Arcana check. This will be with expertise because you're a necromancer.
So just like add an extra 3 to that.
An extra 4.
Four.
Yeah. Did you not level up to level 9 last session? Or
I did.
okay.
I'm sorry, I must have just slipped my mind.
Yeah, it's okay. So 29. You're not sure if it's Stray specifically or all Haunters. But the magic you get from Stray is old. And it almost feels like it's unfinished. Like something about the hunter process wasn't completed, and whatever they are wasn't meant to be the result. And being an
Jumped out of the call for no reason. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat. I jumped out. I somehow got kicked out of the call after you said the haunter process seems unfinished.
Okay, did I say anything after that? Yeah, it's like, it's almost as if whatever the hunter is as a being wasn't supposed to be the end result. And from what you can tell, though you're not sure of what kind, there is a strange sense of divinity to the magic that makes hunters what they are.
Oh, you know what I just thought of?
Hmm.
This is very similar to the Oath of the Drowned.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's a homebrew
it's a
paladin oath.
Paladin oath, or basically a person is drowning at sea and they beg the gods to save them, and the gods do, but in return they lose all memory of their former life and basically have to wander the seas attempting to save people from the same fate.
Huh. Was not my intention. Though, my god. Plot, but that's really funny.
I didn't even get to use momentum.
But yeah,
You
that is what you get from studying Stray.
Cool, send him on his way.
Before he even leaves, you can see him just grab the arm because he took it with him, knowing what you were gonna do.
Mhm.
And rather than a traditional hunter and the way they eat, it's kind of just like the meat from the arm just detaches from the bone and slides between his bandages.
I'm gonna write that down.
And as they leave, they just sort of toss the forearms, the bones, just off the train as it goes by. A very quick crunch to bone, crunch that turns the bones into ashes as the train goes over it. So, can I call the session, or is there anything else anyone would like to do?
I think that's all.
I'm good.
Okay. End the session there.